Hey, everybody. We're not on mute. I'm just not talking. Welcome to Sub Sunday. Move over a little. Be more in the center. Wonder if I'm sunburned because of the baseball game. Looks like I'm a little red. Hey, Latino. Good. How are you doing? How should I pronounce your name? Latino or Latino? Like, Bu Zhangji? Or wait, not him. You can choose, it's fine. Yeah, but I wanted to know which one. Also, it's Ben and Karen, not it's fine. Uh, yeah, okay. There's two O's, so I want to say Latino 28. My birthday was good. We had Indian food, and then I streamed, and then I went to bed. Today was bad in sports. I went to the Braves game, and we left in the fifth inning. After the fifth inning, when it was 10-1, and we lost 18-2, so we didn't make a comeback. Then the Lions lost, and then the Falcons lost. So everybody lost that I root for. Although I did get to watch some good tennis, so that was good. Hey, KYOL or I guess. Hey, Thomas Beckett. Happy Sunday. Yeah, I can see that I'm red. We were in the sun the first two innings, then the sun moved, and then we were in the shade. So I got sunburned the first 35 minutes of the game. Then we weren't there very long. We were probably there for like an hour and a half because we left after the fifth inning. One of those guys on his bike gave us a ride to our car. I didn't even know where I parked. It was so far away. So that was worth it. He has like a bike, and then there's like seats in the back, like you're in China and India, except you're in the US. It's trying to learn who spells everyone by switching the R and the Y. Very dyslexic. Eve Roan. I think it's because you type too quickly. You type 1 billion words a minute, and I type like 6 with my 2 fingers. Hi, the Greyborn. Your score sheets are fine, except for one thing. The Saskatchewan Roughriders had a bit of luck today. Well, that's good. Are you taking an eye on the Grand Swiss? Yeah, in fact, I just made a 5 minutes with Ben about 15 minutes ago, and it was about one of the games from the Grand Swiss. Boy, trying to learn is removing bands. Wow. That's unusual for him. Karen played poker today on stream, and then when she finished streaming, she went to go play poker. I wonder which is stronger, the Iowa State Championship or the Louisiana State Championship. They're probably about the same. A couple of 2,200 players in there. Their top player is pretty good. The Lions had all their coaches stolen from other teams. Now we have all new coaches. Go Lions. But the Lions scored a meaningless touchdown to cover the spread. Although it probably didn't cover the spread. I wonder if Green Bay was a favorite. They're at home, so probably. Probably a 2-point favorite or 1-point favorite. Anybody watch football today or tennis or baseball? I watched all of them. I was at one of them. Yeah, I can see them. My head is redder than like this side of my arms. My arms should be red too, in theory. But in practice, they're not so red. You watched NBA games from last season. Ugh. And different teams won this time. So we only had 5 games submitted. So I'll be killing a lot of time in between games. And Bonarici didn't submit a game, or Pat. So we're missing those guys. Let's see, wants to be friends, and then get rid of all this nonsense. Okay, we got rid of all that. It's going okay. Welcome to the stream. No, I heard the Steelers kicked a field goal to win the game, like 60-yard field goal. I saw the Falcons. They didn't make a 44-yard field goal to tie the game. Yeah, we closed the merch store about 7 months ago, but the Nightbot link is still there, so that's good. It was actually 2 calls. There was also roughing the passer. Yeah, the merch store doesn't exist anymore. So we should get rid of the Nightbot link, but that's just something else Karen has to do. Oh, you can fix that? Yeah, we don't have a merch store anymore. So, yeah, you can get rid of anything that links to the merch. Yeah, the Lions' interior offensive line isn't good anymore. Very suspicious. We went to Yard House, which is a national chain that's in several states. It's like Applebee's if Applebee's was good. So, like, imagine Applebee's, then make it good. That's Yard House. Okay, so I went to Yard House before in Vegas, and they have a vegan menu like on this display, like the thing that you sit down and there's this display thing there. And I said, "Do you have a vegan menu?" When the woman sat us down, and she said, "No, but you can just order all the Gardein stuff. That's all vegan." Then I told the waiter I was vegan, and he pulled up the vegan menu, which is very long on the electronic thing that you can pay with, which I did pay with. So that was good. I got a veggie burger with salad, and Archer and I split guac and chips, and he got a cheeseburger with fries. Oh, and he got a Coke too. Just like the Blues Brothers, got a Coke. I've been vegan, I think, for 6.5 years. Although it's more than a half, because it was January, so six and 2/3 years. Unless it's 7 and 2/3 years, I think it's 6. I think I'm coming up to my 7th anniversary of being a vegan. The anniversary is on January 1st, so it's easy to remember. It was a New Year's resolution. I'm not the number one grandmaster anything. I used to be the number one grandmaster for Michigan, but now Michigan has a grandmaster. So now I'm not that either. Man, the truth hurts. Your spelling of vegan is shallow and pedantic. You spelled it like Deegan, like I'm a degenerate, which I also am. I've only been a degenerate when I play Blackjack. Otherwise, I'm a nice guy. In Blackjack, the following things happen. When the count is high, then you raise your bet and you change the way you play certain hands. And when the count's low, you do the same thing. You lower your bet and you don't play the hand the same way in certain situations. and yet, people at the table, they want you to play the way they want to play, which doesn't affect anything in the long run, but they get mad when you make a play they don't think is right, even though they don't know how to play. So it's very frustrating because they care about how you play and they want you to play correctly in their world of correctly. And it doesn't matter if you play anyway. It doesn't affect them at all. But they don't understand that. And they also don't know how to play. They don't play correctly. They don't bet correctly. They don't bet the right amount based on how much money they have. They don't play the hands correctly. And there's certain hands they don't understand. Like when they have soft 18, they're going to almost always make the wrong play, irrespective of what the dealer has. Like if they're supposed to double, they won't. If they're supposed to hit, they won't. That's the most egregious is soft 18. As far as people not knowing how to play. But I could go on and on. Like sometimes I hit 16 against a 10 and sometimes I stay. It depends on the count. It depends on if there's been a lot of low cards that just came recently. And people think that you have to play a certain way. Although they usually don't play that way. They'll have 11 against an 8 and they won't double. Ugh. I don't care. I just, if they're going to complain, at least they can play correctly and then complain. In a Brazilian mall. Applebee's in a Brazilian mall. Have I ever made a royal flush? No, I flopped a straight flush about 2 years ago at the Venetian in a cash game. And there were like 4 or 5 players that saw the flop. And I checked the flop. Everybody checked. On the turn, I made a small bet and everybody folded. So that was my last straight flush, was I flopped it. But I got no action. Jimbo Matthews subscribed at Tier 1 for 63 months. So I'm pretty sure I've been streaming for 90 months because yesterday it said Karen subscribed for 90 months. She's been a subscriber. So I'm assuming that I've been streaming for 90 months. Probably Trying to Learn is around 90 months also. I don't know if he's all 90 or not. Maybe he knows. I'm the best GM sitting in my chair. That's correct. Okay, we should be on Chess TV, although we only have 37 viewers, so I don't know. Somebody check Chess TV and see if we're on. Let's see, I can do that. Chess TV. For certain audiences, but it's on the chess one. It shouldn't be on the other one. No, I actually find it quite soothing and nurturing when I play blackjack. I like when other people win. I like when they lose. Sometimes I'm rooting against them if they're particularly nasty people. But usually I want everybody to win because, why not? That's fun. Try to have some fun in the casino. Man, the last time I was at the casino in Vegas, there was a guy playing blackjack, and he would take out envelopes with $10,000 in them, and he would buy in for like 5,000, and he would lose it. Then he would buy in for the other 5,000 and lose it. Then he would pull out another envelope, and he would do the same thing. Then he'd pull out another envelope, and he lost like 30,000. Then he left. Then I saw him later, and he had more envelopes. So he lost maybe 45,000 like the one day that I was watching him play. He would be ahead too. Then he'd make huge bets that would lose. He'd start betting 1,000 a hand and making crazy bets. But I liked his envelopes. His envelopes were good. My favorite time in Vegas was about 25 years ago. I had no money, and I borrowed $100 from somebody at a chess tournament in Vegas, and I won $100 playing blackjack. So I gave him back his 100, and then I had 100. Then I took that 100 and I made 4,000. That was my favorite like blackjack like sessions at a tournament. I started out with zero and I ended up with a lot of money. I would only play until I won 100, and I won like 35 sessions in a row. I'd play for like 2, 3, 4 minutes for $25 a hand. When I was ahead 100, 150, I would quit. And then I kept winning and kept quitting. So that was a lot of fun. That's not the most I've won, but that was the most fun. That was when 4,000 was a lot of money. To me, when you have zero, 4,000's a lot. Lately, I play bigger games, so I win and lose 4,000 like it's nothing. But lately, the last couple of years in Vegas, I've been making money. So then Karen's not mad. As long as you win, it's okay. My last trip to Vegas, I won 4,000 playing blackjack, but it was like I was ahead more than that. No, I also play poker. My favorite poker hand from my last trip to Vegas was a 1-3 game with a $300 max buy-in. I had 800 and so did the other guy. And he raised before the flop and I called and we were heads up. And the flop was Jack 8 deuce rainbow and I had Jack 8 suited and he had aces. And we got all the money in on the flop and I held. So I won a $1,600 pot, then I left. That was my favorite hand. Yeah, he 5-bet me all in. Yeah, he bet, I raised, he raised, I raised, he went all in. I called and he said, "Do you have 2 pair?" And I said, "Yeah." "Do you have aces?" And he said, "Yeah." Truth hurts. Yeah, the way he was betting, it was obvious he had aces. If he had a set, he would have been worried about losing me. So, with aces, you just want to win the hand. If you have a set, then you want to make sure I don't fold. He didn't care if I folded. He was betting. He was aggressive and fast. So I was like, well, he has aces. Did Karen ever get mad at you for losing at the casino? I think she's mad at me when I win sometimes. Yeah, truth hurts. Mad's not the right word. Disappointed, upset, rethinking marriage, stuff like that. It's Pat. Pat didn't submit a game. Terrible. Well, when you have aces and the flop comes Jack 8-2, that's a very good flop for aces. But it's not worth $800. He could bet, and then when I raise, he could just call. His re-raise is a little aggressive, and his all-in is crazy. Because I could have a set of deuces. I could easily have 3 8s or 3 2s. I'm not going to have 3 jacks, because probably I would play back at him after the flop. Well, actually, I could call jacks before the flop. Most people would raise in a cash game of low limit like that. But I could easily have a set of deuces or a set of 8s, then he's dead. The way the hand played out, he's not dead, he's got like 20%. But I could have him where he's got like 5% if I have a set of deuces or a set of 8s. So his 5-bet is a little crazy. His 3-bet isn't really out of line that much. You could argue he shouldn't 3-bet, that once I raise, he should realize that he could be beat and he could slow down. And the thing is, I can't win all of his money because I'm not going to make huge bets because I want him to call. Like, basically, when you go all in for $800 before the flop, after the flop, in a 1-3 game, he should have like top set. He should have 3 jacks. Or 3 8s. But risking all your money with aces when you lose to any 2 pair or any set, that's, as long as he just calls my raise. If he calls my raise after the flop, I'm going to bet the turn, he'll call. I'll bet the river, he'll call, and then he'll lose. And he'll lose $200 instead of $800. There's no reason to lose all your money when you don't have the best hand. If you're going to bet all of your money, you want to have, the best or the second best hand. His hand loses to jacks, loses to 8s, loses to deuces, loses to jack 8. In a 1-3 game, it loses to 8 deuce. It only loses to 8 deuce in a 1-3 game, because in any other game, nobody's playing 8 deuce. But games that I see, the players that I see, they'll call a raise with 8-2 suited. So his hand is like the 8th best hand, and he's or the 6th or 7th best hand, and he's putting all his money in. So yeah, he overplayed his aces, they say. He could have still won. He could have had the board pair before the river came, or after the river came, or during the river, at the river, when the river was there. He could have got me on the turn of the river, but he didn't. Could have got an ace. Anyway, that was the memorable hand because the pot was so big and it was just heads up. Usually when a pot balloons to such a high level, that's because there's 4 players in the pot and they all have monsters. Well, 3 of them have monsters and 1 is just crazy. Usually that's the case. If we're on Chess TV, how come there's only 59 people watching? Well, football doesn't matter. We're on chess TV. 59 means we're not on chess TV. Well, we're on chess TV and we have less than 100 people. I've never heard of such a thing. Usually it's thousands, millions. Okay, let's start the sub Sunday part of the lecture. Let's see. Okay, the first game is from Sit Bear, as per usual. This game was played at the American Open last December. In the last round, I guess. Sit Bear says, I kept thinking, quote, I've got you this time, exclam, close quote. But he'd always find some defensive resource. I actually could have won with a Zwischenzug, but I missed it in time pressure because I thought I was already winning. I thought I was winning again by pinning his knight to his rook and forcing it away from the action. But just goes to show how little I understand chess. Aw. Sit Bear's black. It says he's 1736. Or no, it has the elos in reverse. Sit Bear's 1619 and his opponent 1736. And it's slow chess. The game was a million moves. Okay, Sit Bear plays the French. He always takes and plays bishop e7. If you've seen Sit Bear's games before where he has black, you've seen this position. Now his opponent played knight g3, which is an unusual move. Sit Bear gives it a dubious, or the computer does. Somebody does. Yeah, black's already equalized. Knight g3 is too passive. Then white trading pieces obviously gives him no advantage. h3 doesn't make any sense. a3 doesn't make any sense. Yeah, black's just better now. Black has pressure on d4. White's knights are passive. Yeah, black has a nice... This is exactly why you play this line with black, to get positions like this. I don't understand knight a4. Seems like a bad square for the knight. Engine just says it's equal. Doesn't like rook c1 because black can play b5. And black did play b5. Yeah, now black has tremendous pressure on c4. B takes c4 is not a bad move. White playing b takes c4. Yeah, that's very poor. Very poor pawn structure. Wow, queen d1. I guess he had to defend his knight. The engine doesn't think black's winning because white's pawn is now better than it was. It doesn't like that move. Now it thinks black's winning. It wants white to play knight e4, defending the pawn this way. Yeah, this looks completely lost for white. The engine wants to play knight e4. Everybody should be playing knight e4, but nobody does. Rook a1, exclam, attacking the a pawn. Yeah, that's a mistake because now white can play knight a5. And then knight's pinned. Then it says it's equal. Okay, that's what happened. Knight c4 just loses to knight takes knight. That was played. And now it says black is +5. Yeah, because we have knight e2 check in the future. Yeah, I mean, knight e2 check just wins a piece. Then knight takes rook. Black's up a piece. It's not as Wishen's look. That's you're just taking stuff. Yeah, now you can't save your knight and stop mate. Man, that's too bad. Yeah, there's nothing to do here. Knight c8, rook a8. Knight h6. Not a great square for the knight. F5 question mark? F5 looks okay. Usually black wins these endgames. It's too hard to defend. Yeah, but black didn't play well. And here black said, I have the opposition, I'm winning. That wasn't a bad game. But yeah, black was winning by just taking the rook on c1. Yeah, black thought he was winning because he said, I thought I was winning because I have the extra piece in this position. But yeah, there's a mate threat and a knight threat. And you can't stop them both. It's unfortunate. That was the key part of the game. Yeah, instead, knight e2 check and knight takes rook is just winning. That's too bad. You should have won that game. Bonarici subscribed, and Rustaj subscribed. Yay. Thanks, Rustaj. Thanks, Bonarici. Go, but banana bread do. What if he played knight g6 instead of g6? Then rook check and knight d7. But good question. Now black's lucky to escape with rook c1 check and then some move that doesn't get mated. Even this endgame has good winning chances for black. I would expect black to usually win, especially with lower rated players. Well, sometimes NN doesn't lose. Who would have thunk it? I'm reading the YouTube chat. I've never heard of legal seafood. Sounds illegal. I've never been on Chess TV and had less than like 400 people. It's never happened. I blame chess.com. I'm considering getting soup, but I don't think I will. Unless the chat makes me. Yeah, it says it's a chess stream. It says chess in the the information of the stream. Let me see if I can fix this. Audience, everyone, chess. Everything's right. I know, but when I saw that and the content warning, then when I went to the stream, it says it's for everyone. It says chess. Like the last stream before this stream, there was a content warning, but not this one. I don't know why Chess TV thinks this is a poker stream or there's a content warning, because when I look at the places that you say that, it says everyone and it says chess. So I can't, there's nothing else I can do. It says the right stuff. When you go to the stream without going through Chess TV, it doesn't have a content warning. Yeah, it's like it's haunted, like it knows there was a poker stream like hours ago. Hey, SVAC2, I'm good. Now maybe I'll get some soup. Put some more ice in my drink, too. I'll be back, guys. Did I lose all our viewers? Man, nobody said anything in the chat. Okay, let's look at the next game. I think you're supposed to win when you're up a piece, but I couldn't convert a winning position to save my life. Please send help. Also, happy birthday. Okay, it's a 10-minute game. White's 1850, black's 1915. And it's a 10-minute game played on Lee chess. And white's our hero. So far, everybody's playing great. Yeah, the engine doesn't like Queen E1 because of Knight B4. Although I guess if you play Queen D1, your queen's overworked. Yeah, the engine wants to play G4 here, not Queen E1. Your Knight B4 just wins a pawn, I think. Boy, the engine wants to play F3 and says white's much better. I'm glad you didn't play F3. Never play F3. But the engine hates that move. It wants to play G4. That just loses a piece to G4. Yeah, black should play bishop takes and then knight takes D5 because of the pin. Knight C3 is also good. White should just play G4, winning a piece like every move. Finally. White's just a piece up. Not much else going on. You hear white should play knight E4. Knight E4 just ends the game. Knight E4 resigns. We're threatening knight d6 check. If you play rook d5, knight f6 check. And if you take, then knight g3 check wins the rook. So knight e4 just wins the game. Now it says it's equal because you lost your pawn. You pushed the pawn until you lost it. Now black's slightly better. Although not now. Now black's completely lost. No, you don't take that. No, you take on h7. Then the knight comes back and stops the pawn. What? Knight takes h7, c4, knight f8, the only winning move. Knight takes g6, knight e5, and knight d3. And white wins. And knight takes h7 is the only winning move. Well, now white's winning again with a4. No, you play a4, you queen. No, the pawn can't be stopped. The king's over here. No, b4 double question mark. a4 winning. No. Black was quite insistent on losing that game, but white refused. I mean, a4, what? I don't understand how you don't play a4. Why would you not play a4 and queen your a-pawn? The knight easily stops those two pawns. The queen went mate, too. Okay, now a draw is the fair result. a4, there's nothing to calculate. You queen. What are you calculating? What move? You can't see after c3, b3 that knight here stops both pawns? After c4 I take? I mean, there's nothing to calculate. Just a4 and you win. But b4 is an incredible blunder. c4 draws, king g8 draws. b4 letting you win. Frankly, terrible. Ready, set, terrible. No, the knight h7 line, that's fine that you didn't do that. I still wouldn't take this and undouble their pawns. Yeah, if I wasn't going to play knight takes h7, I'd play knight here and knight here. I wouldn't undouble their pawns. Right, this is fine, but then not playing a4, that's why I was so upset. You missed a4. That's what you missed trying to learn. The question is, does knight takes b4 win? And the answer is yes. Knight takes d4 also wins. And then you queen. You should have won. No, knight takes h7 is a knight f8. That's a win you're going to miss. That's very similar to how Gukesh beat Carlsen when Carlsen banged the table. That's a similar kind of knight motif. But knight takes b4, a4, just completely winning. And knight e4 winning also earlier. Knight e4 you should see. How does a player like me find out if a chess puzzle was hard for a master? What? You could ask them if it was hard. I used to just do puzzles on my stream. Karen and I would sit here and do puzzles all day. We would do puzzles rated 2200 to 3200. 2200 ones seemed like they were about 1200. 3200 ones were hard. No, if I want to do puzzles, I'll do them. Phoenix Plays Game. But thanks for asking. That's the amount of questions you're allowed to ask. Next question you ask, you should be a sub. In fact, that's my question to you. Why aren't you a sub? Vanderbilt beat Virginia Tech 44-20. I saw that the score was close, but that's not close. I must have saw it in the second quarter or something. Yay, go commies. When Vanderbilt wins football games, the next day's always good because it's easy like Sunday morning. That's a joke most of you won't get, but some of you will. But most of you won't. This is one of the few streams where you can watch a grandmaster eat soup. Checking my emails. Yeah, Grishuk is good at eating soup. That's correct. Don't forget to donate if you like watching me eat soup. Okay, next game. Hi, Ben. I was whitened this game from a couple of years ago on chess.com, which features the fried liver attack. My opponent and I made some mistakes in the opening. We were both under time pressure in the end game. This is a 5-minute game. Both players are over 1700. 1777 and 1783. And it's a 5-0 game. No friction gave 1 bit. And that started the hype train somehow. Level 1, 0%. Never seen that before. Very suspicious. It's the vegan fried liver. The engine likes D4 more. It says that loses immediately to bishop f4 check. And that black should have played king c7 here, or knight takes knight. It says this also wins for white. It says that's a blunder. Bishop takes d5 is winning. Now it says black's winning. Well, now it says white's winning. It wants to play knight takes bishop. Now it says black is slightly better or winning after king takes bishop. Wow. It says white's winning after bishop takes knight. Then if queen takes, rook e5 wins the queen. Now it says black's winning. Well, black does have an active king. Now it says white's winning. It says bishop b4 exclam. Now white's winning with rook e5, keeping the king on c4. White's still winning. Now it says it's equal. Not a bad game. Exciting. Yeah, the engine just says it's equal. It slightly prefers black. Whoa. What happened there? Oh, king c8 like hung a piece. So king d6 is equal and king d8 is equal. Now white's winning, finally. And the two queens beat the two rooks. Black either resigned or lost on time, whichever's funnier. That was an exciting game. And he said it was played a couple of years ago. Yeah, if I played a game online 2 years ago, I don't have the score of it anymore. I guess that's a me problem. Kraft's single square gave 3 bits for sunscreen. Okay, next game. This is a 3-minute game I played 3 days ago in which I defeated a 2100 as a 1500. That was in a tournament hosted by British Twitch streamer Frank Chess, who was probably the best player in Britain, rated 1100 in Blitz. The odds were against me, but I had a secret weapon. I was subbed to Ben, an opponent was not. Okay, and it's a 3-minute game. So far, I'm playing great. The engine says it's equal. King F1 double question mark. Bishop C3 is equal. Now you can take and play Bishop C2. And you did. Well done. Rook A3, huh? King D7, King C8. Why would you play King C8 here, and why would you give your bishop away? Still winning, except so much material doesn't matter. Why did the game end here? White could play check and take the knight. That's like the worst position Black's had in the last 20 moves. I don't understand the end of the game. Did White lose on time? Or White decided not to check and take the knight? You forgot about your bishop? Did you win on time, or your opponent just didn't check and take your knight? Well, it's a 3-minute game, so you could lose on time. It's the best position White's had the whole game. Black just gave another piece away. Oh, Black, he lost on time? To shreds, you say. Yeah. Yeah, here you should play Rook B8 instead of or King D6 instead of giving your knight away. But you won against the player 600 points higher. That's good. Yeah, he didn't see Bishop C2. Too bad he's not a subscriber. He would have seen it. Who's the strongest player in the UK I've played in a standard OTB game? Let's see. I've never played anybody on the Olympic. Oh, that's easy. I've played Tony Miles like 5 times, maybe 6. Yeah, Tony Miles. I've played him several times. I forgot about him. So that's the answer. I beat him once, I drew him once, and I lost to him twice. Actually, no, we had 2 draws. So I have 2 losses, a win, and 2 draws. Well, I didn't play Aaron Summerscale in a standard OTB game. That was a blitz tournament. Otherwise, that would be the... No, that's... Yeah, unfortunately, Archer and I went to the Braves game today, and they lost 18-2, and we left when the score was 10-1 in the fifth inning. So we didn't see them score another 7 runs in the ninth inning. We missed almost half their runs. Yeah, the Braves pitching was no good. Everybody pitched badly. Latino 28, 100 bits. Thanks for the 100 bits. And the last train we had was at 0% on level 1. I never had that before. Yeah, that's right, Mark. Yeah, but Kraft Single Square, you have to name the Seattle players who didn't hit a home run. Good luck doing that. When you score 18, everybody is hitting home runs. Man, they were hitting home runs in the third inning. They scored 8 runs in the third inning. It was one home run after another. Then we hit a home run, so we didn't get 0. I only take baseballs from kids. Adults are big and scary. Yeah, 18-2. Pretty embarrassing. Hey, Ken's Adams, welcome to the stream. Can you mate with a king and a bishop? I can mate with a king and a bishop, but don't tell anybody. Secret. Okay, last game. Hello, Ben. This was one of my first OTB games. Probably second or third played in the league tournament in Switzerland. Black is Latino. He's 1602, and he's playing 1776. Slow chess, 90 minute with 30 seconds, 40 minutes added on move 40, etc. Okay, in this position, Black played a novelty. It's not terrible, but it proves he wasn't cheating. Bishop d7. Very unusual move. It's not that bad. Yeah, this position's about equal. that move just loses a pawn, so that's not a good move. Now white's a pawn up. Also, I think white should play f takes e5. This is much stronger to take with the f pawn and have this nice center pawn here, so we can build a big center later. h4? Wow. That's not the safest move. The engine already says it's equal. b4? I mean, when black played bishop e7, he's telegraphing his intention to play bishop takes h4. I mean, you couldn't, you might as well just tell your opponent to play bishop takes h4. b4, wow, what a terrible move. I like bishop f3. That's a nice move. Always repeat. And white resigned. Wow, you played a very good game, except for knight e4. You only made one mistake. Yeah, here knight e4 is really bad. Then you're losing. Then your opponent played h4. Wow. Yeah, your opponent played really bad, like, after he had a good position. But your only bad move was knight e4. He made several bad moves. He should take with the f pawn. Then he shouldn't play h4. And then king h2 is not very good. And then here he has to just like stop queen g2 mate, queen e2. And the end. It says the best move is bishop g4. It's a really terrible move. Hey, I was reading that. Good game, Latino. Yeah, you had the two bishops. Although your opponent also had the two bishops. Then you both had one bishop after you traded them on d4. Well, it's nice to beat a higher rated player like that, especially with the black pieces. Yeah, h4 wasn't good. And he should have taken on e5 with the f pawn. Should keep his big center. Yay, Funky Monk banned somebody. I like more ban is better. Good one, Funky Monk. Yeah, Trump caused a delay at the U.S. Open today. They started the match 30 minutes late, and people weren't in their seats yet because of security. He even messed up the event. But Alcaraz was the better player today, and he won. That was fair. Okay, it's now Sub Saturday, so I'll play subs. So challenge me, 3 minute unrated, because we looked at all the Sunday games. Ben, are you familiar with AJ Lee's return in the WWE after 10 years? Is that like the World Wildlife Fund? Is that like WWF? No, I'm not familiar. I'm sorry. I stopped following wrestling 30 years ago. Sure, GM Tall. Worf May gifted a sub to GM Tall. You're the best. That's right. You didn't deport him or nothing. You have to challenge me. Type exclam challenge, and it'll tell you how to do it. I did watch the tennis. Yeah, I'm actually one of the coaches in Coach Champs. That's starting next week. Latino wants to play 1 minute? All right. If you want lessons, then contact Karen, my wife, and she'll tell you what the prices are and stuff. Exclamanalysis. Funky Monk. Craft single square 100 bits. 50 cents was a lot of money? Really? No. Yeah, good night, Pat. Thanks for the birthday wishes. All right, I guess the stream's over. We'll raid filtering spam, I guess. Okay, I'll see you guys Tuesday night. Thanks for supporting the stream, everybody. Bye.